Welcome back. Please like, subscribe. This is going to be an abbreviated pick piece, which is cool because it's going to help me in accomplishing one of my goals, which is going to be lowering my overall picks and bets by half. So I'm going to be covering 8 fights, but briefly just mentioning I'm also just on the Cortez side, the Gravely side, the Hubbard side, the Zara Farron side, the Lupita Godinez side by decision over Jessica Pena, and I did mention Hubbard to withstand the Bush. These won't be my main nor final plays, but I'm committed to just 10 bets. I don't like any of these for parlay legs. In fact, the card looks a little sparse with respects to parlays. So I won't have any tonight. Actually, that's not true. I'll have a few, which troubles me as parlays tend to be my primary payouts, or at least my largest payouts. But so far, the way this is going to turn out, it looks like it's going to be a prop bet night. I also seem to be leaning with many of the favorites this night out. So it's hard to find dogs for the way I like to make parlays. I still like to add a dog with favorites into the parlays. So the first fight we're looking at here is Andrei Arlovski versus Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman is coming back into the UFC after suspension for PEDs, as everybody knows. I think he did a stint in BKFC. Did he also go to PFL? I don't recall. He has been journeying around a little bit for some time, but and Arlovski, I've made money off of Arlovski recently. I think I might be able to cover Arlovski in the money line on this. It's just a tough fight for me to lean some way with Andrei Arlovski, as he still gets hit a lot, and I think Chase Sherman could bring it to him. I'm not certain where I'm going to go with this particular one, but just because Chase Sherman gets hit a ton, I'm leaning slightly on the Andrei Arlovski side. But that's not to be said that he can't be caught. And Andrei's getting up there in years. We saw him get finished by Espino in his last time out. Chase Sherman also doesn't have the best chin, but it has some production in terms of his striking, as you can see here from the UFC stats at 6.02 strikes per minute per round. But I'm going to still ride with Andrei Arlovski here. We'll see what happens, as the boys' pick is Chase Sherman by TKO or just Chase Sherman at the money line. We'll see what happens at the casino. A lot of times I do lean towards what my friends do go with, and it helps me. I think in this case we'll have to talk about it a little bit. On the Monkey Night Fight side, I'm leaning with a less and a more for Andrei Arlovski. I think Andrei Arlovski is going to control the octagon. He's going to dirty box Chase Sherman. There's not going to be a ground affair. I think he's going to get his strikes, but Chase Sherman isn't going to get his. The next fight is Gerald Meerschaert versus Bartosz Fabinski. Fabinski is a strong grappler. Neither of these guys actually strike very much. Both are excellent grapplers. If you look at the grappling statistics, both have great takedown averages. But I think the tail of the tape, or what's going to be significant here, are the strikes absorbed per minute. Fabinski's just hittable. And Meerschaert's takedown average and takedown accuracy is just too good, I think, for Bartosz Fabinski to really control Meerschaert. I'm thinking that Meerschaert finds that submission at plus 225. I think this is going to be a less and less. I think we're going to see a heavy grappling affair. All right. Razzak AlHassan, a first-round devastator. This guy is just a first-round killing machine. So if Malko can withstand the first round, he might be able to pull this off. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just feeding him Malko, or Malko just has an opportune moment due to his relation with Bobby Knuckles in this instance. I'm leaning on Razzak AlHassan pretty heavily, but there was no meat on the bone anywhere. So On the monkey knife fights, I'm sorry, I'm looking at less and less because I think this is going to end quickly. I think I'm going to take Razzak AlHassan in round 1 at plus 120. I think he's just going to be too much for Malko, too much strength, too much power. If he comes in there and is just able to cover his chin, he should win this easily. I probably won't use him in a parlay leg, but I may have to consider where, again, as him a possible parlay position. Next up, Munhoz versus Pena. Very interested in this fight, primarily because Munhoz, I believe, is an instructor at Team Alpha Male and is a good wrestler, which is sort of like Pena's, nightmare. I mean, he just doesn't defend a takedown very well. I don't think he wants to defend a takedown very well, but sometimes he just really lays there in bottom position, just in the guard position a lot, which could be dangerous for Munhoz. But then again, a lot of the Team Alpha Male guys, a lot of those wrestlers aren't necessarily known for their submission skills. But they do strike. And as we see here, there is a striking similarity in terms of statistically. They both strike similarly. Striking accuracy also leads on the Munhoz sides, but we really need to look at the takedown defense. Munhoz has very good takedown defense with 45% takedown defense. And then Pena is just good at getting takedowns. So if Pena could end up in top position, I think he could easily submit Munhoz, but sometimes Pena just submits himself in a different way, where he commits to being in that guard position, just stays there way too long, takes too much damage, and then loses by decision. On the monkey knife fights, I'm going to go with a less and less. I think this is going to be a heavy grappling affair, so there isn't going to be a ton of strikes going on. And let's see if Pena finds that submission and how that turns out. Next up, I'm excited about this bout as well. I think it's going to be another potential grappling affair, as if Espino could withstand that first strike that Romanov is going to hit him with, those first few bombs, which I'm a little frightened that Espino can't do. Although he's undefeated, we haven't seen him. I believe he has lost by knockout before. He is also a European Brazilian jiu-jitsu champion, I believe, or some form of grappling champion. I'm really high on him. Romanov, I was super high on him. I have cashed on Romanov quite a bit. Although he's thrown me off here and there in terms of when he has done what he needed to do. I think Romanov's just a one-dimensional grappler, whereas Espino has a lot more advantages on the ground. If Espino can avoid being hit, that one hit a quitter, I think and if he ends up in a superior grappling position in terms of a top position, because he can possibly take Romanov down, and he has better takedown ability than Romanov. So overall, I think his wrestling's better. Romanov might have him on the feet. That's yet to be seen. So I'm leaning with Espino to possibly finish this. But Romanov by TKO is plus 240, which looks really, really meaty. Espino by finish is plus 225. I'm happy with that. He could possibly finish by ground and pound as well as submission. On the monkey knife fight side, I'm leaning with more and more, because even though this is going to be a grappling affair, I think there's going to be a lot of striking on the ground, a little bit of ground and pound here. We'll see if Romanov is going to be able to get back up from Espino and what happens from there. But I think this is going to go into the second round, and I think they're going to achieve their striking metrics. Next up, we have Jeremy Heathen Stevens versus the man that was named after a cologne, Drakkar. Close. I think this is going to be a very close match. Close is very hittable, and I think Jeremy Stevens might be able to catch him, and we might see Close going down once again. Although I think he's pretty durable. Beneil Dariush, I don't think it's fair. He did very well against Beneil Dariush. I think Beneil wore him out by riding him, backpacking him, and it eventually wore Close a little bit out. Stevens isn't going to be able to do that, but I think just Stevens has a bigger firecracker for hand than what a lot of closest opponents have been. Bobby Green, Venata. These are guys that just don't have the power that Beneil Dariush has, as well as Jeremy Stephens. And I think that Stephens is going to be able to capitalize here, win by TKO. Therefore, we're going to go for a less and less. I think it's going to be the under. I don't know where I'm going to sit with this at the end of the night, because the boys' pick on this is the money line on Drakkar close, but they also do wear cologne, which I don't. Lastly, we have Gastelum versus Whittaker. I almost said Pernell Whittaker. I haven't seen a Pernell Whittaker fight in decades, although he is a great legend. Thinking about Sweet Pea is a good thing here, because I think this is going to be primarily a boxing affair. If you look at Whittaker's takedown defense, I think he's going to just keep this standing on the feet. And Whittaker's boxing is sharp. Gastelum's boxing is extremely sharp too. Out of King's MMA with Rafael Cordero, I love that gym. Gastelum is one of their best pupils and students there. They really support him very well, so he's going to be prepared. But unfortunately, I see Whittaker with all the advantages here. So I'm leaning strongly on him because of his activity, his takedown defense, most of the elements of his game. So there is a parlay there that you could take Whittaker to win and the over at plus 105. I don't think I'd play that. Whittaker by TKO is plus 215. That's a nice prop bet to look at. The safer bet that most people are looking at is Whittaker by decision. I'm leaning on that bet as well. I'm also going to use him as a parlay leg. For Monkey Knife fights, I'm leaning towards more and more for both of these guys. I think it's going to go 5 rounds. They're going to get their averages. Most of Monkey Knife fights does cap their fight stats from UFCstats.com. So it's a good thing usually to take a look at that. So in summation here, what did we do here? We have Razzak AlHassan in round 1 at plus 120. Pena by submission at plus 333. Chase Sherman by TKO at plus 250. And I think did I change that? What happened there? Meerschaert by submission at plus 225. We have Espino by finish at plus 225. And Stephens by TKO at plus 210. Whittaker by TKO at plus 215. Or Whittaker by decision at plus 120. If you were to take the 3 best of these that I like, Razzak AlHassan, Pena by submission, Whittaker by a decision, these 3 prop bets in a parlay would be a plus 1996, a $10 sprinkle nets you $200. If we parlayed the other bouts that were not covered here, Austin Hubbard, Lupita Godinez, Zara Farim dos Santos, as well as Tony Gravely and Tracy Cortez, they would be a 5-pick parlay at 616. So for everyone, thank you so much if you've been able to withstand all of this. I'm extremely tired at this point. It's been a long week, which I've enjoyed. I'm going to enjoy the fights tomorrow. I'm going to have a good time. I'm down for the year. I doubt that I'm going to make it up tomorrow. I'm going to lower my bets. I'm going to lower my increments of bets. I'm not going to take all these prop bets. This isn't a parlay card. It's more of a favorite card. And even though I've covered primarily prop bets, it's not something that I think that's going to happen for me tomorrow. I'm going to lay back, just enjoy the environment, have a few drinks, eat some food, chill out, pick the feet up. UFC stats, Monkey Knife fights, like and subscribe. Don't forget, Ben Askren does 5.5 rounds easily, plus 100 for the final bet. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much.